Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at wedge shafts and what they might do or what you can do to help your game with a different wedge shaft. So today we're going to look at our first little look at the 14 wedges. The RM4, beautiful wedge, Japanese company. I've got this one set up for demo, dotted up for the quad in a 56S grind. Now basically most wedges will come with a dynamic gold, true temper, dynamic gold shaft, S200. A lot of people ask me, what's S200? If you get a wedge off the rack, basically they've all got S200 or a variation. It might say S200 tour issue and it's got a nice red label or a blue label or whatever company, but probably 90% of wedges that you buy stock standard have got a dynamic gold S200. Now an S200 is just a lighter S300. Okay, so the S200 is 127 grams. It's a relatively low launch and low spin shaft. And so if you're there playing a Nippon 950 shaft or something in, a 100 gram shaft, play regular flex or even stiff flex and play lightweight, you go into a 50 degree or a gap wedge or a sand wedge into a 127 gram low launch, low spin shaft. And yes, while we want to, keep our wedge flights down, it's well documented that we want, the wedge going through the air, not just going straight up. A low launch, low spin shaft is not for everyone. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this 14 wedge, and like what we do here is we'll run through different wedge shafts. Okay, so we've got a Nippon Modus 105 regular, and then in the 115 gram range we're going to go in, what have we got, Fujikura Pro. Go for a graphite, love my graphites as you know. Dynamic Gold 115 wedge shafts, so they've brought out a lighter version. And then we're going to go into KBS High Rev 2.0 115. We'll run that up against the standard traditional Dynamic Gold S200. And then we'll bring in the big heavy one, the Dynamic Gold S400 tour issue, 132 grams, maybe the heaviest shaft you can buy. Now this is number one on tour, very, very popular. Most guys like a little bit softer wedge shafts. So this is softer than, say, the X-Flex shafts they tend to play. So it's a little bit softer, but it's heavy, okay? Beautiful feel. So I'm gonna run through 6 different wedge shafts. We're gonna run 75 meter pitch shots with the quad. I'm gonna run a new ball today. Very excited about this. Haven't hit it yet. Haven't been out on the golf course because in Sydney, as you all know, it has been pouring for 2 weeks. So Z-Star Diamond Brooks Koepka ball, we're going to run that. So I'll hit 75 meter pitches. I'll delete shots that are more than, say, 5 meters either side of the target. And then we'll just have a look. We'll see what happens with launch, with spin, with descent angle, with peak heights. We'll have a look at those numbers. But the basic story is I think that S200 is not for everyone, and you can do better and you can get fit and you can find something that's going to suit your game. So I'll go and hit some shots. Okay, so the results were not shocking, but somewhat surprising. When you look at the launch, they're all very similar within 1 or 2 degrees. The lowest launching was a softer shaft, the Modus 105R and the DGS 200. And the highest launching was actually the Fujikura. Now that doesn't really surprise me. The Fujis do tend to launch pretty high. But in turn, when you look at spin, and the spin numbers are really, really important, the lowest spinning shaft, Fujikura Pro 115 stiff graphite, is the lowest spinning. So, the old adage of graphite is no good and spins too much and all that, it's absolute rubbish. It was the lowest spinning shaft followed by the DG S400 tour issue, which was not surprising, the DG S200, which again is not surprising, right? And then the highest spinning was the Modus 105R, the DG 115, and the High Rev 115 were the highest spinning shafts. So that's where we can really notice a difference, is how they spin. You see that the carry and the total, they're all very similar, right? So that spin number was very, very different. So with the DG S200, I actually had to delete a couple of shots. It was the first shaft I used, so granted. But I did struggle with the heavier shafts. I struggled with the S400. I had to delete the first couple of shots. One went long, one went short, and then I found my groove and it went okay. But the moral of the story is wedge shafts matter, and they all do different things. And if you're getting too much spin, then you should opt for a shaft that's going to bring down that spin. Or if you're not getting enough, opt for a shaft that gets higher spin. But the point is, they're all different. None is better, none is worse. Now for me personally, I really love the Modus 105R actually. Felt amazing. Straight away, I hit it really, really close to the flag. And I think it's a wonderful match for me. But going from a 95 gram graphite shafts in my irons into a 105 in the wedges would be a pretty natural progression. And it felt amazing in the regular. The other thing I suppose worth noting is I've just hit about 40 wedge shafts. And the Z-Star Diamond, it looks pretty good, actually. It's come up real nice. It's got some marks, but for a pretty new wedge, and these RM4s are known for their spin, they're known to produce plenty of spin. I think my Golf Spy even said recently that was the most spinningest wedge. So the balls held up really well. The numbers were great. I mean, I hit them all really nice. So I hit them all on the number on average, but just consider it. That's all. Just consider it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying the DGS 200 is no good, but it's certainly lower spin. And, if you're looking for more spin, there's plenty of options out there. Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure you click on like and subscribe. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see, and we'll see you in the next video.